we obviously we like each other a lot. We have minds that work the same way to a great degree. We find the same things quite humorous. We find the things we deplore we agree on. We've never had an argument. We've had lots of disagreements. Whenever we disagree, Charlie says, well, you'll end up agreeing with me because you're smart and I'm right. You know, I haven't quite figured out the answer to that yet with 56 years of practice. He's made me think about things I haven't thought about. In fact, I would say that every time I'm with Charlie, I'll get at least some new slant on an idea that causes me to rethink certain things. And we've had we've had so much fun.
Charlie Munger is an investing legend and the vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway. Charlie Munger's investing principles have proven to be effective for Munger and Berkshire Hathaway, and can be absolutely valuable for individuals like you. We will share you about Charlie Munger's pearls of wisdom today. Indeed, you can achieve financial stability and be rich, if you pay attention to what the billionaire has to say. Munger has served as Buffett's right-hand man and closest business partner for almost 40 years. He was a significant contributor to the development of Berkshire Hathaway. With a $700 billion enterprise, he certainly matches the profile of wealthy billionaire and has a personal net value full of zeros.
And I said, well, what do you owe on your credit card? And she said, well, I owe X. And I said, well, what you should do, I don't know what interest rate she was paying, but I think, I think I asked her and she knew, and it was something like 18% or something. I said, I don't know how to make 18%. I mean, if I owed any money at 18%, the first thing I do with any money I had would be to pay it off. It's going to be way better than any investment idea I've got.
I'll concentrate on folks who spend more money than they earn each month. A person is either accepting gifts or taking out loans if their expenses exceed their income. It has never been easier to borrow money than it is right now. Whether it's to get a new set of camera, a car, or a house, it's all possible because of the booming economy throughout the world. There are numerous chances to succumb to the temptation of taking out a loan. At least 40% of American households have a problem with their expenditures, according to the Federal Reserve. Since it may become a huge burden, personal debt is a problem. The most common type of consumer debt and a good example of how quickly one may become trapped by it is credit card debt. The simplest strategy to avoid interest is to pay off the loan completely before the promotional period expires. Unfortunately, most people just pay the minimum each month after using their credit cards to the maximum amount. This minimum payment usually just needs to cover the interest for the current month. Using a credit card for financing becomes an exceedingly expensive option when the high interest rate is considered.
There may also be people whose expenses and income are exactly in balance. A person cannot possibly be saving any money for the future if they are spending every dollar they receive. It follows that they will probably require a loan to pay for expensive purchases like furnishings or trips. Becoming financially prosperous will be extremely challenging, if not impossible, because of this approach. They are currently caught in a financial trap.
Oh, it really helps if you know which hunting ground to look in. In fact, we all do better hunting when we're hunting where the hunting is easy. I have a friend who's a fisherman. He says, I have a simple rule for success in fishing. Fish where the fish are. You want to fish where the bargains are. That's simple. If the fishing is really lousy where you are, you should probably look for another place to fish.
Typically, fishermen would cast their nets in a region of the ocean where fish are plentiful due to the good conditions there. So, it is critical for the fishing sector to maintain a regular presence in international waters and to get fishing licenses in uncharted fishing grounds. Charlie Munger is known for his renowned advice to fish where the fish are when asked about his success secrets. When he says that a fisherman must fish where there are lots of fish, he is in one of the fabled Berkshire Hathaway meetings. Even more significant than a fisherman's skill is the simple presence of fish in the water. Everyone who wants to achieve may employ this metaphor in the real world. Let's suppose that two people A and B will do business honestly. With these traits, intelligence, effort, honesty, and diligence, they have a strong recipe for success. Given how similar they are, it makes sense that they would be incredibly successful. But no, there's still another important factor at work here. Let's suppose A enters the very competitive market for consumer goods. Whereas B enters the profitable software sector, which is seeing extraordinary growth. As a result of being in a fish-rich environment, B has a greater probability of catching fish. Mungers would say that A isn't fishing in a productive area. As B works in a field that is brimming with opportunity, we would also place our bet on his future success.
And I had to, it was going to be a little difficult. And there were things about law practice I saw that were quite limiting. And what happened was that out of my pitifully small earnings as a young man, I kept underspending them, and I kept investing fairly boldly and fairly smartly. And at the end of my first 13 years of law practice, I had more liquid investments than I'd made in all those years of law practice pre-tax. I'd done that in my spare time with these little tiny sums.
The first concept is to start saving and investing your first $100,000 ASAP. Charlie Munger claims that it is quite tough to earn the first $100,000. Building wealth requires time and work, especially in the beginning. For most people, saving their first $100,000 is a big accomplishment. Because they have no beginning capital, every dollar they invest must come directly from their wages. Having nothing implies that their money isn't doing anything to make them wealthy. If you have nothing to save for your first $100,000, it may be difficult. The most difficult part of getting your first $100,000 is having to start investing. Usually, the initial move is the most difficult. It makes no difference what you're doing. The most difficult and critical step is the first one. After all, you can only finish a task if you start it. You must do whatever you are supposed to do to achieve your goal, and the same is true for financial investments. $100,000 may appear to be impossible. However, initial action always makes a difference. Another reason why the first $100,000 is the most difficult is that you will have to make several changes. People, generally speaking, are resistant to change. If you refuse to adjust to changing conditions, you will continue to get the same outcomes. What do you want even more than that? To earn that $100,000, you must desire it. You must want it so deeply that you are willing to uproot your entire life and disrupt your routine. The well-paved road may provide comfort. Yet the primary thing preventing you is this. In addition, the only constant is change, so just accept and learn to be at ease with it. To achieve this, your lifestyle will need to change. You must start investing and saving at least half of your salary rather than spending it all immediately. Moreover, you must get obsessed with stocks, just as many people are with other tangible assets. To put it another way, rather than wasting time and money looking for and learning about new consumer products, investors should look to the stock market, the most amazing companies, and stocks as the finest things. The emphasis will change to stock market education and stock investment. As Charlie Munger said, you can reinvest the earnings from your investment once you've reached at least 6 figures. Your account balance will be made up of more than just your funds. The amount of savings required to obtain your next $100,000 will be less. Because the money you've already invested will generate wealth without further assistance from you. Once you've earned your first $100,000. This is due to the possibility that the power of compounding will take effect. Suppose you put $100,000 into the market and make an average annual return of 8%. 18 to 20 years from now, your initial investment will have increased to almost $700,000. Start early, earning your first $100,000, and then put your life on auto navigation. To build a compounded asset, the first $100,000 is perhaps the most important. More effort is not required at a certain point. The autopilot asset will keep growing and gaining power on its own above what your effort could do.
The very word diversification, which is taught in every business school, is the holy golden grail. I consider almost asinine. I'm only interested in investing where I have some sort of advantage. And of course, that means I can't do the conventional things. And if I have the advantage in 3 different things, that's enough for any family. 3 wonderful things with the odds in your favor. I mean, do you want egg in your beer in life? And so I think the idea you have to have a big diversified portfolio, that's fine for the ignorant people to be fully diversified. But if you actually know what you're doing, I think 3 investments are plenty. And the Mungers, if you take Berkshire and Costco and Lilu's Asian fund, that's 90% of the money.
Having a diverse portfolio is beneficial. Another sage remark from Munger that may be applied to the present market slump is the idea that having too much diversification is stupid. Diversification is a difficult idea that not everyone can readily understand. Diversification is among the best ways to smooth out the humps in the path of investment. Place your money in a variety of investments to diversify your holdings. The returns on various investments change over time. While the value of certain assets may be rising, declining, or being constant, the value of others may be fluctuating. Diversity may therefore limit your investment return. As important as this is for your financial stability, the risk of having too many diverse components in your portfolio is present. It becomes more difficult to keep track of every stock you own as it grows. Low-cost index funds are preferred to stock picking since you may limit your potential gain and eventually achieve market average returns. One of the most crucial elements of long-term investing is diversifying your holdings. You may need lots of various equities in your portfolio to feel comfortable. Munger warns investors about the possible costs of depending on excessive diversity. It is not recommended to buy too many different types of stocks. If you don't intend to research the company. Here comes one of the best Charlie Munger tenets. It is a method through which a normal person might become extremely wealthy. To own equity is the idea. After working for the business for over half a century, Charlie has almost completely placed his multi-billion-dollar fortune in a single stock, Berkshire Hathaway. Although owning a sizable portion of Berkshire, Munger makes less money than the majority of recent graduates working in finance or software engineering. Around $2 billion is held by Munger in Berkshire. Charlie Munger's wealth isn't a result of his salary, but rather from the increasing value of Berkshire stock yields. This is a general principle that, if followed, can lead to financial success. Focusing on positions that also provide you some shares in the firm during job searching may be beneficial. Your interest in the firm increases with each new share you purchase, and you are therefore entitled to a larger part of the company's assets and profits. Large shares of stock are frequently awarded to employees in the technology industry. Due to the appreciation of their stock awards throughout the duration of their employment, lots of people have become multimillionaires after joining a quickly developing company. We appreciate your watching. Please hit the like button below if this video helped you in any way and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks again and see you next time.